You did not stumble upon this video by accident. Nothing in this world is random. Every moment is ordered, every meeting divine, and every word you hear right now is aligned with the deeper truth within you. Your win is coming. You've been waiting, hoping, watching the signs, and wondering when the breakthrough will arrive. This message is your confirmation. You are not late, you are not forgotten, you are on time. This is the echo of your own inner calling, reaching back to you, reminding you of your true power, the creative force within your imagination. Your mind is not a mirror of the world, it is the blueprint of the world. What you hold in imagination, when fused with feeling, becomes form. This means your success, your abundance, your love, your breakthrough, it all begins inside. You are not here to chase it. You are here to create it. The desire you carry is sacred, it is not random. That deep yearning you feel is a signal from a higher dimension, one where your win already exists. If you can feel it, you can have it. If you can assume it, it must become real. That's the law. So the question is, can you dare to assume it's already done? Can you let go of the visible world just for a moment and fully dwell in the end? Can you imagine the message you'd send to a friend after your dream has come true? Can you feel the relief, the joy, the peace that comes when the wait is over? Because in truth, it already is. You must no longer seek signs from the outside to prove it's coming. The fact that you're hearing this is your sign. Your soul brought you here. Your higher self whispered, "Watch this." And here you are, receiving the seed that will bloom in your world. There is no force denying you your good, except the disbelief within you. Let that go now. Give yourself permission to believe without needing evidence. The evidence will follow. The win will come. The world must conform to your sustained inner state. That's not a wish. That's a spiritual law. So now, as you listen, allow your inner world to change. Close your eyes for a moment and feel it done. See yourself already living in the wish fulfilled. Feel the peace of knowing it's complete. Breathe in that certainty. Walk through your day with the quiet confidence of someone who has already won, because you have, and the world will soon reveal it. This video found you for a reason. Your win is near. Hold the vision, assume the feeling, trust the unseen, and watch as the world rearranges itself around your new belief. Everything begins and ends within you. You are not a victim of the world you see. You are the creator of it. The outer world is not an independent force acting upon you. It is a mirror reflecting back the beliefs, assumptions, and inner conversations you entertain most often. Your consciousness is the cause. The world you experience is the effect. You are the operant power, not passive but active, not dependent but directing. Whether you realize it or not, every thought you persist in, every feeling you dwell in, every inner dialogue you repeat, these are shaping the landscape of your life. The power has never been outside of you, it was always within, waiting for you to take ownership of it. When you assume something to be true about yourself, your circumstances, your worthiness, that assumption begins to take root. It sinks into your subconscious mind, which does not argue or reason. It accepts what you persistently imagine and feel. Then, like a seed in fertile soil, that belief begins to grow. The people, events, and situations in your world begin to arrange themselves to reflect that inner reality. You don't need to force change in the outer world. That's like polishing a mirror and hoping your face changes. Instead, change the image you hold within. If you see yourself as successful, loved, abundant, and chosen, and you feel it as true, the world cannot help but reflect that back to you. Not because you manipulated anything on the outside, but because you altered the cause. which is your inner state. The truth is, the power is always working even when you don't know it. If you habitually assume lack, fear, failure, or rejection, those assumptions will also find their way into your experience. But once you become aware that you are the operant power, you are no longer a reactor, you are a deliberate creator. So, what are you choosing today? What are you accepting as true about yourself? What are you assuming about your future? Are you repeating old stories of limitation? Or are you writing a new script with intention and clarity? There is no power out there deciding your fate. No one has authority over your reality unless you give it to them in consciousness. Once you recognize that your inner world dictates your outer world, you can no longer afford to speak words or think thoughts that contradict your desires. Every mental act is a creative act. Every inner assumption is a command to the universe. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It simply means you must be aware. You must become the guardian of your inner sanctuary. You must choose deliberately what you dwell on, what you accept, what you declare. Speak to yourself as the person who already has the life you want. Think from the place of the end, not toward it. Feel the joy of it being real now. And when doubts arise, as they sometimes will, remember, you are not the doubt. You are the power behind the thought. You can shift in an instant by choosing a new idea and breathing life into it. You are the operant power. You have always been. You don't need permission. You don't need a sign. You don't need anyone else to agree. All you need is a decision to believe in what you've been given, the ability to imagine, assume, and receive. This is your invitation to reclaim that power. Stop waiting for your life to change. Start being the change within, and the world will follow. Because it must. You are the operant power. Now that you know it, nothing can ever be the same again. The desires you feel deeply and persistently are not random. They are not idle daydreams or fanciful wishes detached from reality. They are divine signals, sacred messages whispered from the unseen, calling you to remember what already belongs to you in another dimension of your being. You wouldn't have the desire unless the fulfillment already existed. It is already done, it is already real. The moment a true desire is born within you, the path to its realization also begins to unfold. Your role is not to question whether it's possible. Your role is to accept that its very presence is the proof of its possibility. Desire is not lack. It is life's way of expanding itself through you. It is how the unseen becomes seen, how the invisible becomes visible. That urge within you to grow, to love, to succeed, to create, to experience more is not just personal, it is universal. It is divine intelligence choosing to express itself through your unique consciousness. So many people are taught to distrust desire, to see it as something selfish or material. But in truth, desire is sacred. It is the voice of your higher self, guiding you into alignment with who you are meant to be. When you deny your desire, you are not being humble, you are resisting your own expansion. You are turning away from the gifts that life is trying to hand you. You are not meant to suppress desire, you are meant to honor it, to hold it close, to breathe life into it through imagination, faith, and inner conviction. You are not chasing something outside of you, you are allowing something within you to take form. And this is key. The desire you feel is not something you must go out and earn or achieve through effort alone. It is something you must assume, accept, and align with. You must claim it in consciousness first. When you do all the necessary pieces, people, timing, resources, inspiration begin to move. You don't have to figure it all out. You only have to know that it is already yours and act from that place of inner certainty. This is not wishful thinking, it's spiritual law. The seen follows the unseen. The world of form bends to the world of assumption. So if you feel called to something, a new life, a bigger purpose, more abundance, deep love, understand that it's already seeking you just as you are seeking it. Do not analyze it. Do not explain it away. Do not let the voices of doubt or fear silence it. Instead, trust it. Trust that what you desire desires you. Trust that it was planted in your heart because you are the one to bring it forth. Trust that there is no distance between you and the fulfillment of your dream, only the veil of belief, which you now have the power to lift. When you truly honor desire, you shift from hoping to knowing, from wishing to expecting, from seeking to allowing. And in that shift, reality begins to conform to the new story you are telling yourself, the one where you already have what you've asked for. So the next time a desire rises in your heart, welcome it. Recognize it as a sacred message from the deeper part of your being. Listen to it, embody it, speak as if it's done, move as if it's done. Feel the relief and gratitude of its completion. Because in truth, it is done. All you must do now is align with it. Desire is not something outside of you calling you forward. It is something inside of you calling you home. And the fact that you can feel it means you are already on your way. So trust the signal. Walk in faith and watch your desire unfold not by force, but by divine inevitability. Because what is truly yours cannot miss you. Imagination is not mere fantasy. It is the womb of creation. Everything that has ever come into existence began first in the invisible realm of imagination. Every structure, invention, masterpiece, or breakthrough the world has witnessed was first seen by someone within. It existed in the mind before it appeared in form. And this is true for your life as well. What you vividly imagine, with emotion, consistency, and belief, begins to form the blueprint for your reality. Your subconscious mind, which governs your habits, reactions, and even what you attract, does not distinguish between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. It accepts what you persistently feel and see within as truth, and then moves you and the world around you to reflect that inner truth. Imagination is the first cause. The visible world is the second cause, the echo, the reflection, the result. If you want something to change in your outer world, you don't start there. You go within. You revise the image you hold. You dwell in the scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. This is not about wishful thinking or idle daydreams. True imaginative work is intentional. It is focused. It is emotionally charged. When you imagine the life you want and do so with genuine feeling, with the senses engaged, with the joy and gratitude of already having it, you impress that image upon the subconscious. That impression sets in motion the unseen laws that govern form. You must become the director of your own inner movie. Do not let the world, your past, or your circumstances dictate the scenes you replay in your mind. You have the power to create new ones, scenes that lift you, that honor your highest vision, that affirm your worth and success and abundance. And this power doesn't require force. It doesn't require years of effort. It only requires faithfulness to the unseen. Can you remain loyal to the vision within, even when the outer world seems unchanged? Can you persist in the assumption that it is already done, already yours, already real? Because it is. The moment you create and feel that imaginal scene, it begins to live. It begins to breathe. And the more often you return to it, morning, night, in idle moments, the more real it becomes to your subconscious. Eventually, that image becomes your belief, and once it is believed, it must be experienced. So, this is the secret used by great inventors, artists, athletes, and mystics alike. But it is not reserved for the few. It is your birthright. You came into this world equipped with the divine gift of imagination, the ability to create something from nothing. Use it wisely. Use it consciously. Use it lovingly. If you imagine yourself as successful, loved, healthy, and whole, and you feel the reality of that scene with faith and persistence, you will find the outer world bending to that new story. People, opportunities, ideas, and circumstances will begin to appear that match your inner movie. It is law. So, begin now. Create a scene in your mind that reflects the life you desire. Make it vivid. Make it joyful. Make it rich with sensory detail. See it. Feel it. And above all, return to it often. Let it become your dwelling place. Because whatever you do not consciously imagine, the world will imagine for you. And it will do so based on past beliefs, fears, and limitations. But when you take control of your inner world, you take command of your destiny. Imagination creates reality. Always. The question is, are you using it deliberately or unconsciously? Choose now to become a conscious creator. Step into the role of the visionary of your life. The world you desire is not out of reach. It is already within, waiting for you to see it clearly enough, consistently enough, and feel it deeply enough that it cannot help but become real. What you imagine today will live tomorrow. So imagine wisely, imagine boldly, and watch your world transform. The secret to effortless manifestation lies not in striving, begging, or waiting, but in living from the end. To live from the end is to mentally and emotionally occupy the state where your desire is already fulfilled. It is to think, feel, and act as the version of you who already has what you have asked for. It is not a trick, it is a law. This principle is powerful because it shifts your entire vibration, your entire assumption of identity. When you live from the end, you no longer operate from longing or lack, you operate from completion. And that sense of wholeness is magnetic. It draws experiences, people, opportunities, and outcomes to match it, without the exhausting push or grind. You don't wait for the external world to catch up before you shift your state. You shift your state now, and the external world must follow. The world is a mirror, not of your words, but of your inner feeling. When you feel yourself to be what you desire, your world begins to reflect that inner knowing back to you. Ask yourself, who would I be if it were already done? How would I walk, talk, move, and respond to life if I knew my desire was guaranteed? How would I carry myself if I knew I had already arrived? This is the identity shift. It is not pretending, it is not forcing, it is embodying a new self-concept, one rooted in fulfillment rather than frustration, one based on the truth that your assumption creates your reality. For example, if your desire is wealth, do not think from the perspective of someone trying to become wealthy. Think from the place of already being prosperous. Feel the ease of abundance. Make decisions from that state. If it's love, don't imagine yourself as alone, hoping someone will choose you. Assume the state of being chosen, cherished, and secure in love. Feel it real. Living from the end rewires the subconscious. It reprograms the lens through which you perceive reality. And once your perception changes, so does everything else. You will begin to notice new pathways, new signs, new ideas, all because you dared to assume the wish fulfilled. The world cannot resist the pull of your inner state. When you are consistent in your assumption, your world becomes obedient to that assumption. It bends, shifts, and rearranges, not by your force, but by your faith. This principle is the opposite of striving. It is a surrender, but not to defeat. It is a surrender to the truth that it is already done. You don't chase it, you claim it. You don't beg for it, you dwell in it. And if doubt arises, as it sometimes will, return to the end. Don't fight the doubt. Don't argue with the world. Simply revisit your scene. Re-feel your desire as fulfilled. Re-enter the state of your chosen reality. The more often you do this, the more natural it becomes. And what is natural to the mind becomes inevitable in form. This is how you transform your life. Not by reacting to circumstances, but by refusing to let them define you. Your current conditions are not your truth unless you decide they are. You are not here to live by appearances. You are here to live by vision. Living from the end is the most loving, powerful, and confident way to create. It removes the waiting, the hoping, and the anxiety. It places you in the only moment that truly exists, now. And in this now, you have the power to become anything, receive anything, and embody any reality. So dare to assume the best. Dare to walk in your fulfilled state. Dare to live as the person you've dreamed of becoming, because that version of you already exists. It is waiting for you to claim it. Live from the end, and the end will meet you here in the present. We live in a world that teaches us to wait for confirmation, to look for evidence, proof, or signs before we believe something is possible. But this way of living places you in a passive state. It says, I believe it when I see it. But the truth is, you will see it when you believe it. Signs follow, they do not precede. The outer world is a shadow cast by the inner world. It does not move first, it reflects. Your dominant belief, your consistent inner state, your assumption, these are what give birth to the conditions you experience. The world simply catches up with what you have already accepted as true in your inner reality. Waiting for signs is a form of doubt. It says, I'll trust once I'm shown. But life doesn't work that way. You are the operant power. It is your belief, your assumption, your faith that sets things in motion. If you wait for proof before moving into faith, you are standing still, and so your world remains still too. But when you become the proof in consciousness, when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even if there's no evidence yet, you activate the unseen forces that bring it into form. It is not magic, it is law. Think of it like a seed. You do not plant a seed and then demand immediate evidence. You trust the process. You water it, you nurture it, and you know that growth is happening beneath the surface. The same is true for your desires. Once you claim them in consciousness, the process has begun, even if nothing appears to have changed. You're constantly scanning your world for signs, asking, where is it? Why hasn't it happened yet? You are actually affirming the absence of your desire. And what you affirm inwardly, you continue to experience outwardly. Instead, shift your attention. Don't ask for a sign, be the sign. Embody the energy of the result. Walk as the version of yourself who already has it. Speak with the confidence of one who knows it is done. Feel the peace of completion. When you do this, signs will begin to show, not because you are looking for them, but because you no longer need them. The irony is that signs appear most rapidly for those who have stopped needing them. When you detach from the need for proof, proof begins to show up. And what are signs really? They are feedback, reflections of your state of consciousness. They are not guarantees or approvals from the universe. They are simply echoes of your inner movement. So let them come. Let them be a quiet nod that you're aligned, but never let them become the reason you believe. You are the cause, the world is the effect. When you shift internally, the world must shift to match. This is not a possibility, it's a certainty. You are not at the mercy of chance. You are not hoping to be chosen. You are the chooser. You are the one setting the tone and direction of your reality. So stop waiting. Don't postpone your joy. Don't delay your belief. You do not need external permission to live in the state of your fulfilled desire. Move now into that inner conviction. Rest in the knowing that what you seek is already seeking you. Signs will follow, opportunities will appear, the right people will arrive, doors will open, but not because you chased them, because you became the version of you who already has them. So trust yourself, trust your imagination, trust the inner feeling more than the outer facts, because the world must follow your belief. And once you fully understand this, you'll stop chasing signs. You'll realize you are the sign. Faith is not hoping. Faith is not wishing. Faith is inner certainty in the unseen, a loyalty to what your senses have yet to confirm. It is the quiet but unshakable conviction that what you have imagined is already real, already yours, already done, even when there is no external proof. This is the kind of faith that moves mountains, not because it pushes or strives, but because it knows. It holds to the unseen reality with unwavering allegiance, refusing to be swayed by appearances, time, or delay. Faith means you no longer look to the outside world for validation. You don't need the world to show you evidence before you believe. Instead, you believe, and the world eventually mirrors that belief. Faith comes first, the manifestation follows. To have faith is to claim your win before it is visible. It is to remain loyal to the imaginal act, the inner feeling, the vision that came to you not by accident, but by divine impulse. That dream, that desire, that inner conviction was placed in you as a seed. And your faith is the soil in which it grows. The challenge, of course, is that the world is loud. It will tempt you to doubt. It will ask for evidence. It will present delays and contradictions and moments of silence. And in those moments, you may question yourself. Is it really working? Did I imagine it all? Should I give up? But those questions. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, close your eyes for a moment and listen, not with your ears, but with your spirit. There is a secret few understand and fewer still dare to apply. But if you grasp this truth and embody it, you will witness the impossible bending before you. You have been told that reality is fixed, that circumstances dictate your life. But I tell you, you are the creator of your world. The forces that shape your destiny do not lie outside of you, they are within. And if you desire change, if you seek to manifest what seems impossible, you must learn the art of impressing your mind with certainty. There is a simple technique, a practice so powerful that those who apply it correctly see their desires materialize in ways that defy logic. It is this: find a statement that affirms the reality you wish to experience and repeat it 10 times with absolute conviction, not as a mere chant, not as empty words, but as truth. Say it as though the walls around you will shift to accommodate it. Say it as though the universe is bending to your will. Say it until you feel it sinking deep into your being, until your very cells vibrate with its reality. Do not concern yourself with the how. The how is not your concern. That is the work of the unseen, the divine intelligence that orchestrates all things. Your only task is to assume its completion, to repeat it with unwavering belief. Here is your test. Choose now what you desire, frame it in words of fulfillment, and then say it as times. With each repetition, feel the shift. With each repetition, the impossible begins to dissolve. There will come a moment, perhaps days from now, perhaps sooner, when you will see the first signs, a whisper of evidence, a ripple in the world around you. Do not doubt it. It is the first movement of a reality already formed. Continue even when your senses argue otherwise. Persist even when logic denies it, and watch as the world bends to reflect the truth you have declared. What once seemed impossible will stand before you, undeniable and real, not because you wished for it, but because you assumed it was already yours. Repetition is the language of the subconscious mind. Every thought you dwell upon, every phrase you repeat, and every image you hold persistently in your mind becomes a seed planted deep within your being. And like any seed, it does not remain dormant. It takes root, grows, and eventually manifests as the reality you experience. Your subconscious mind does not discriminate between what is true and what is false. It accepts whatever it is fed with conviction. This is why repetition is so powerful, because it impresses ideas upon your subconscious in a way that bypasses logic and skepticism. When you repeat something consistently, especially with emotion, it begins to feel natural, as if it has always been part of you. Over time, your subconscious mind takes this repeated input as fact and seeks to materialize it in your external world. Think about the habits, beliefs, and patterns you currently hold. Were they not shaped by repetition? The language you speak, the way you respond to situations, your sense of identity. These are all products of repeated exposure and reinforcement. A child does not learn to walk by trying once or twice. They attempt it again and again until it becomes second nature. Similarly, you did not adopt your present beliefs overnight. They were formed through repeated experiences, thoughts, and affirmations, whether conscious or unconscious. If repetition has the power to shape your present reality, then it also holds the power to reshape it. If you find yourself trapped in cycles of lack, struggle, or limitation, it is only because these ideas have been repeated to you by society, by your environment, and most importantly, by yourself. But the beauty of this truth is that what has been programmed can be reprogrammed. Just as negative patterns were established through repetition, they can be undone in the same way. When you begin to deliberately repeat a new thought or affirmation, you are planting a new seed in your subconscious. At first, it may feel unnatural, even false. This is because your mind is accustomed to the old programming. But if you persist, if you continue to repeat your chosen statement with conviction, something remarkable happens. The mind begins to accept it. What once felt like mere words now stirs emotion within you. Doubt fades and certainty grows. And as soon as you accept it internally, the external world begins to shift accordingly. Consider those who have achieved great success, those who have overcome impossible odds. If you look closely, you will see that they did not merely stumble into greatness, they affirmed it long before it appeared. Whether consciously or unconsciously, they repeated to themselves a vision of success, of triumph, of certainty, until it became their dominant state of being. The world, in turn, had no choice but to reflect that inner conviction. The key is not in casual repetition, but in repetition imbued with feeling. Empty words do not impress the subconscious. They are like seeds cast on barren ground. But when you repeat something with belief, with excitement, with the unwavering expectation that it is already true, Then you activate the forces necessary to bring it into being. It is not the mere act of saying words that changes reality. It is the state of consciousness from which those words are spoken. This is why faith is essential. If you repeat an affirmation but secretly doubt it, you are contradicting yourself. The subconscious picks up on your dominant feeling, not just your words. So when you affirm something, do so with the full expectation that it is already yours. Do not look to the outside world for confirmation. Persist in your inner knowing. Repetition coupled with belief is the formula for transformation. There will be moments when the old patterns try to resurface. This is natural, but you must stand firm in your new reality. Continue repeating the truth you wish to experience, no matter what appears before you. The unseen forces are already at work, shifting circumstances, rearranging details, and aligning events in ways beyond your comprehension. Your only task is to remain steadfast, repeating your chosen reality until it becomes your undeniable truth. In time, what was once a mere affirmation will become your experience. What seemed distant will become your present. What once felt impossible will stand before you, undeniable and real. And when that happens, you will realize that it was never the world that changed. It was you. The words you speak hold no power on their own. They are merely sounds, empty vibrations in the air. It is the feeling behind them, the deep conviction within, that breathes life into them and makes them effective. Without feeling, words remain hollow, incapable of influencing your reality. But when a statement is saturated with belief, when it is spoken with the absolute certainty that it is already true, it becomes a force that molds the world around you. Feeling is the key because it is the language of the subconscious mind. It is what separates a mere wish from an unshakable knowing. If you observe your own life, you will notice that what you have consistently experienced is what you have deeply felt to be true. Your beliefs are nothing more than thoughts you have felt with certainty. The world does not give you what you merely say, it gives you what you feel in the depths of your being. Think of the moments in your life where you received something you truly expected. Whether it was something small or something significant, you knew it was coming. There was no doubt, no questioning, just an inner confidence, a feeling of certainty. That feeling is what caused it to materialize. The same principle applies to anything you desire. If you can cultivate the feeling of already having it, your reality will bend to match that inner state. Doubt is the greatest obstacle to manifestation. The moment you allow doubt to creep in, you cancel out the effect of your affirmations. It is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to check if it is growing. You must trust the process, knowing that once you have impressed your subconscious with a feeling, the result is inevitable. Your job is not to question how it will happen, but to maintain the feeling of already having it. When you engage in affirmations or visualizations, do not do them mechanically. Instead, step into the experience fully. If you desire financial abundance, do not simply say, "I am wealthy." Close your eyes and imagine the weight of money in your hands, the feeling of security, the excitement of limitless opportunities. If you desire love, do not just say, "I am loved." Feel the warmth of companionship, the deep connection, the happiness that comes from being cherished. The more real it feels to you, the more real it becomes. This is why children manifest so effortlessly. They do not analyze or doubt, they simply feel their desires as real, and their world conforms accordingly. They can pick up a stick and believe it is a sword, feel the excitement of battle and immerse themselves so deeply in the experience that it becomes real to them in that moment. Adults lose this ability because they have been conditioned to rely only on what they can see. But the truth is, what you see is only a reflection of what you have previously felt. If you want to change what is visible, you must first change what is felt within. You do not have to force reality to change. You only have to change how you feel about it. The moment you assume the feeling of already having what you desire, your world begins to shift. People, circumstances, and events will rearrange themselves to match your new inner state. This is an unbreakable law. The only requirement is that you persist in this feeling, no matter what appears in the present moment. When you master this, you will realize that effort and struggle are unnecessary. Everything flows effortlessly to the one who feels it as already done. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable, not because you forced it into existence, but because you felt it into being. Everything you see in your world is a direct reflection of what you hold within. Your beliefs, your assumptions, and your emotions shape the experiences that unfold before you. Life is not happening to you, it is responding to you. Every event, every circumstance, and every person you encounter is mirroring your inner state. If you truly grasp this, you will understand that you are not a victim of life, but its creator. Your thoughts and feelings are like seeds planted in the subconscious mind. Whatever you accept as true within will take root and grow, eventually expressing itself in your external reality. If you believe in limitation, struggle, and failure, then life will confirm those beliefs by presenting you with experiences that align with them. If you assume wealth, success, and happiness as your truth, then life will mold itself to reflect that inner assumption. The world is simply a projection of your dominant state of mind. Many people live under the illusion that external circumstances dictate their inner experiences. They believe that once they get the right job, meet the right person, or acquire a certain amount of wealth, they will finally feel happy, confident, or secure. But this is backward thinking. The outer world does not create your inner state. Your inner state creates the outer world. The feeling must come first. When you cultivate the emotions of success, love, and abundance within, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your new state of being. This is why two people can experience the same event but interpret it in completely different ways. One person may see an obstacle as a devastating setback, while another sees it as an opportunity to grow. The event itself is neutral, but the inner perception of it determines its effect. This proves that reality is not fixed. It is fluid, bending and shifting according to the assumptions you hold about it. If you wish to change your life, you must stop looking to the outside world for confirmation and start looking within. You must take responsibility for your inner state, knowing that as you change your thoughts and emotions, your reality must change as well. This is not wishful thinking. It is an unbreakable law. The moment you assume a new mental position, whether it be one of confidence, success, or love, you set into motion unseen forces that will bring that assumption into physical form. Doubt and fear are the only barriers to this process. When you allow them to dominate your mind, you unknowingly affirm that things will not change. You give power to the very conditions you wish to escape. But the moment you shift your inner world and refuse to entertain any thought contrary to your desired state, your reality will begin to conform. Persistence is key. The world may not change instantly, but if you remain steadfast in your new assumption, the outer world will eventually reflect it. Consider the people who have transformed their lives in extraordinary ways. If you study them, you will see a common pattern. They first changed within. They did not wait for the world to change before they felt successful or powerful. They assumed those feelings first, and the world reshaped itself accordingly. The great inventors, leaders, and visionaries throughout history did not look at their present circumstances and accept them as final. They held on to an inner vision so strongly that reality had no choice but to align with it. You are no different. The same power that created worlds lives within you. The only thing keeping you from experiencing a new reality is your attachment to the old one. The moment you decide that a new state is yours, and you embody it completely, the world will reflect it back to you. There is no other way. The world is not separate from you, it is a projection of you. If you want more love, be love within. If you want success, assume the feeling of success now. If you want abundance, feel the joy of abundance before it appears. The external world must and will shift in response. Change does not happen outside of you, it happens within you first. And when you make that shift, the world has no choice but to follow. What you perceive as impossible is nothing more than an illusion, a belief you have accepted as true. There are no real limits except those you place upon yourself. The world around you, the circumstances you face, and the obstacles in your way are not barriers. They are merely reflections of what you hold within. The moment you let go of the idea that something is beyond your reach, you unlock the power to bring it into reality. Impossibility is a concept created by the mind. It is not an objective truth, but a conditioned response. From an early age, you have been told what is and isn't possible, what you can and cannot achieve. You have absorbed these limitations from society, from past experiences, and from the opinions of others. And yet, throughout history, people have shattered these so-called limitations time and time again. Things that were once deemed impossible, flight, instant communication across the globe, space travel, are now everyday realities. Those who accomplished these feats did not accept impossibility as fact. They assumed their vision was real long before the world reflected it. Your desires are not random. They are glimpses of the reality that is already possible for you. When you feel the pull towards something greater, it is because that reality exists in potential form, waiting to be claimed. The only thing that keeps it from materializing is your belief that it cannot happen. But the moment you assume its reality, when you truly accept that it is already yours, the process of manifestation begins. The world operates according to your assumptions. If you believe something is impossible, you will see evidence to support that belief. But if you shift your assumption and begin to see your desire as already accomplished, you will start to notice opportunities, ideas, and circumstances aligning in your favor. The outer world is nothing more than a mirror, reflecting back to you what you hold within. Change your assumption, and the reflection must change. Many people allow external circumstances to dictate what they believe is possible. They look at their current situation and use it as evidence of limitation. But the present moment is simply a reflection of past assumptions. If you continue to accept the limits of the past, you will continue to experience them in the future. But if you dare to assume a new reality, one beyond what seems possible, you set a new cause into motion. The future must conform to that new inner state. This is why those who achieve great things often seem unreasonable to others. They refuse to accept the world as it is. They live in the reality of their vision long before anyone else can see it. They do not wait for permission or external validation. They declare, "This is mine," and persist in that belief until the world reshapes itself to match their inner conviction. You must do the same. If there is something you desire, whether it be success, love, health, or abundance, do not ask if it is possible. Assume that it is already done. Walk through life as if your wish is already fulfilled. Feel the joy, the confidence, the relief of having what you desire. This is not pretending. It is aligning with the truth that everything is available to you the moment you claim it. Doubt is the only thing that can delay your manifestation. The moment you entertain thoughts of impossibility, you push your desire further away. But when you remain unwavering in your assumption, reality has no choice but to conform. The unseen forces of life begin working in ways you cannot predict, arranging people, events, and circumstances to bring your assumption into being. Nothing is stopping you except the beliefs you hold. The moment you release the idea of limitation, you will see doors open where before there were only walls. The moment you assume the reality of your desire, it will begin to materialize. This is not theory, it is law. The world is shaped by those who dare to assume the impossible is already theirs. Faith is the ability to see beyond what your physical eyes perceive. It is the knowing deep within that what you have claimed as true will inevitably manifest, even if there is no visible evidence. Faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between imagination and reality. It is the unwavering belief that what you desire is already yours. despite what circumstances may suggest. The greatest miracles in life are not produced by chance or external conditions. They are created by those who hold firm in their faith, refusing to be swayed by appearances. Many people give up too soon because they do not see immediate results. They assume that because nothing seems to be happening in the external world, their desires are not being fulfilled. But this is where most fail to understand the nature of creation. Just because something is not yet visible does not mean it is not unfolding. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up each day to check if it is growing. You trust that beneath the soil, unseen forces are at work, nurturing the seed, preparing it to break through the surface at the right moment. The same is true for your desires. The moment you accept something as true in your mind, the forces of creation begin working to bring it into form. Your job is not to worry about how or when it will appear. Your job is to persist in your assumption, to remain steadfast in the belief that what you desire is already unfolding. The more you look to the outside world for validation, the more you delay the process. Faith does not rely on proof. It does not need confirmation from the senses. It sees what is not yet seen, it hears what is not yet spoken, and it knows that the unseen forces are already in motion. There are countless stories of people who have manifested what once seemed impossible simply by refusing to doubt. They did not allow their present reality to dictate what was possible. Instead, they held on to their inner vision, knowing that if they persisted in their belief, the world would eventually conform. Some of the most remarkable achievements in history were born from this kind of faith. Great inventors, leaders, and visionaries did not look at their circumstances and accept them as final. They saw beyond what was in front of them. They believed in something greater, and through their unwavering faith, they brought it into existence. Doubt is the only thing that can block what is already on its way to you. The moment you question whether your desire is possible, you disrupt the process. You introduce resistance, slowing down the very forces that were already working in your favor. But when you hold firm in your belief, when you persist despite appearances, the unseen forces continue their work uninterrupted. Everything is already being arranged in perfect order, in perfect timing. You may not see it, but you must trust that it is happening. Think of the times in your life when things seem to fall into place effortlessly. What you once thought was impossible suddenly became a reality. Perhaps an opportunity appeared out of nowhere, or a long-held desire materialized in an unexpected way. These moments were not coincidences. They were the result of faith working in the background, aligning everything to bring your desire into form. The same principle applies to anything you seek to create. The moment you truly believe and refuse to waver, the universe must respond. Faith is the most powerful force you can wield. It overrides logic, it defies limitations, and it bends reality to match your assumption. If you can hold on to your desire with complete certainty, without needing proof, without questioning, without allowing doubt to creep in, you will witness miracles unfold before your eyes. Not because of luck, not because of external circumstances, but because you believed in the unseen long enough for it to become seen. The unseen forces are already in motion. What you desire is already being prepared for you. Persist. Do not waver. Do not let appearances deceive you. Hold firm in your faith, and the miracle you seek will become your reality. The key to bringing your desires into reality is to live as though they are already fulfilled. Do not wait for evidence. Do not seek external confirmation. Assume it is already yours. The moment you accept your desire as a present reality rather than a distant possibility, you shift your entire world. You no longer hope, wish, or wonder. You know. And it is this knowing that calls forth the unseen forces to bring it into form. Most people live in a state of waiting. They wait for circumstances to change before they allow themselves to feel different. They wait for more money before they feel wealthy, for love before they feel adored, for success before they feel accomplished. But in doing so, they place their power outside themselves. They tell the universe, I do not have this yet. And the universe faithfully reflects that assumption. The world does not give you what you want, it gives you what you assume to be true. If you continue to wait, you will always be waiting. But the moment you begin living in the state of the wish fulfilled, the world has no choice but to match your inner reality. To live as though it is done means to shift your entire state of being. It is not about forcing action or pretending. It is about embodying the feeling of already having what you desire. How would you move through life if you knew without a doubt that your wish was fulfilled? How would you speak? How would you carry yourself? What thoughts would dominate your mind? When you step into that version of yourself, everything around you begins to shift to accommodate that new reality. You may wonder, how can I act as if I have something when I don't see it yet? The answer is simple: imagination. Your mind is the creator of all things. When you imagine something vividly and emotionally, your subconscious mind accepts it as real. It does not differentiate between what is seen and what is imagined. If you persist in this assumption, if you make it your dominant state, the outer world will be compelled to conform. This is not mere theory, it is the way creation works. Look around at your life right now. Everything you experience is a reflection of past assumptions. You have already been manifesting your reality, whether you were conscious of it or not. If you want to change your world, you must first change your state. And you do that by assuming right now that what you desire is already yours. You do not need to wait for proof. You do not need to see movement to believe it is happening. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the unseen forces are already in motion. Everything is shifting, aligning, rearranging itself to match your assumption. The outer world is merely a reflection of your inner state. It cannot remain the same if you have changed within. Doubt is the only thing that can delay your manifestation. If you allow your current circumstances to dictate your belief, you will keep yourself trapped in the same reality. But when you refuse to be influenced by appearances, when you hold steadfast in your assumption, the world must yield. It must take the shape of your new belief. This is not magic, it is law. Those who have achieved great things have always understood this principle, whether consciously or unconsciously. They did not wait for success before they saw themselves as successful. They did not wait for wealth before they felt abundant. They became the thing they sought, and in doing so, they attracted it effortlessly. You must do the same. Right now, in this moment, step into the version of yourself who has already received. Feel the joy, the relief, the excitement of having what you desire. Let it consume you. Let it shape your thoughts, your words, your actions. Move through the world as if it is done. And soon, you will see that it is done. Everything you desire is already within you, waiting to be expressed. The key to manifesting even the impossible lies in your ability to assume its reality now. Through repetition, you impress your subconscious mind with the truth of your desire. By feeling it deeply, you breathe life into it. When you recognize yourself as the cause of your reality, you take back your power. The illusion of impossibility fades the moment you accept that there are no limits except those you believe in. Faith moves unseen forces, and your persistence ensures their fulfillment. And above all, by living as though it is already done, you align yourself with the reality you seek, allowing it to unfold effortlessly. Let go of doubt. Stop waiting for signs. Assume it, feel it, and walk in the certainty that it is already yours. The world must conform to your inner reality. Thank you for embracing this truth. Keep persisting, keep believing, and watch as miracles unfold before your eyes. Close your eyes for a moment and listen. Not with your ears, but with your spirit. There is a shift happening. Can you feel it? Something within you is being called higher. But the question is, are you ready? Many ask for change, but few are prepared to receive it. A shift does not come with comfort. It comes with the unsettling of everything familiar. It comes with the removal of what no longer serves you. It comes with the divine rearranging of your life. The mistake most people make is they resist the shift. They cling to old ways, old thoughts, and old versions of themselves. But what you hold on to is what keeps you bound. If you refuse to release, you refuse to rise. God is shifting you into something greater. But before you can step into it, you must let go of what is holding you back. Do you trust the unseen? Do you trust that the discomfort you feel now is part of a divine plan? Stop looking at your circumstances as obstacles. They are not barriers, they are signs. Every delay, every closed door, every ending, it is all orchestrated to move you to where you are meant to be. If you are ready for this shift, then walk in it. Stop waiting for proof. Stop waiting for confirmation. Speak as if it is already yours. Feel as though you have already arrived. The moment you do, reality will bend to match your faith. Every great transformation begins within. Long before circumstances shift, before doors open, before the visible world reflects change, something deep within must first be renewed. The world around you is only a mirror, reflecting the assumptions, beliefs, and inner conversations that dominate your mind. If you desire a new reality, you must first create it internally. Most people believe that change is something that happens to them, something external that must first appear before they can believe it to be real. They wait for signs, for proof, for tangible evidence that something is different. But in truth, the process is the opposite. The external world is not the cause, it is the effect. The true shift happens first in the unseen, in the thoughts you entertain, the emotions you nurture, and the convictions you hold. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant within it, whether seeds of abundance or seeds of lack, will eventually grow into your experience. The challenge is that many people unknowingly plant weeds while wishing for a harvest of prosperity. They say they desire change, yet their inner dialogue contradicts their spoken words. They may long for love, yet they harbor thoughts of unworthiness. They may dream of success, yet they entertain fears of failure. The mind cannot produce a life beyond its dominant thoughts. What you dwell upon persistently becomes the blueprint of your reality. This is why it is not enough to simply wish for change. A wish is weak. It is fleeting, unstable, and easily swayed by doubt. A true shift requires something deeper, a conviction, a knowing, an unshakable assumption that what you desire is already yours. It requires the discipline to reject old thought patterns, to silence the voice of fear, and to embrace a new state of mind that aligns with the life you seek. Consider the power of assumption. Every moment you are assuming something about yourself, about life, about what is possible for you. These assumptions are not neutral. They are creative forces shaping your path. If you assume struggle, struggle will find you. If you assume ease, doors will open effortlessly. The mind, when left unchecked, tends to repeat the same familiar narratives, reinforcing the same reality over and over again. But the moment you take conscious control of your assumptions, you take control of your destiny. This is where most people falter. They attempt to change outwardly while remaining the same inwardly. They work harder, push more, force circumstances to bend, yet nothing seems to change. Why? Because their core belief system has remained untouched. They have tried to rearrange the shadows without altering the light source. True transformation is not about manipulating the external. It is about shifting the internal. When the mind fully embraces a new state of being, the outer world must conform. It has no choice. Think of a person who has been struggling financially. They may work tirelessly, pursue every opportunity, and still find themselves barely getting by. This is because they have not yet shifted their inner state. Deep down, they may hold beliefs about scarcity, about money being difficult to attain, about success being reserved for others. Until these beliefs are uprooted and replaced with new ones, beliefs of abundance, ease, and deservingness, their external reality will continue to reflect lack. But the moment they truly shift in their mind, when they fully embrace abundance as their natural state, life will begin to reshape itself in miraculous ways. Opportunities will present themselves, resources will flow, and what once seemed impossible will become effortless. The same applies to love, health, personal growth, every aspect of life. The world responds to your dominant inner state, not to fleeting wishes or half-hearted affirmations. This is why change must begin with awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts that run through your mind daily. Observe your inner conversations. Are they aligned with the life you desire, or are they reinforcing the very reality you wish to escape? Once you become aware, the next step is discipline. It is not enough to notice negative thoughts. They must be replaced with new ones. This is not an overnight process, but a continuous practice. Just as a gardener tends to his land, removing weeds and nurturing the seeds he wants to grow, so must you tend to your mind. You must consciously assume the state you desire, think from it, and persist in that assumption even before any evidence appears. This is where faith comes in. Not blind faith, but the faith that comes from understanding how reality truly works. The moment you shift internally, the external must follow. It may not happen instantly, but it will happen. The world cannot help but reflect the dominant state you hold within. Your job is not to force or struggle, but to maintain that inner knowing until the outer world catches up. The key is persistence. Many people begin this process with enthusiasm, but the moment they see no immediate change, they revert to their old ways of thinking. This is like planting a seed and then digging it up each day to check if it has grown. True transformation requires patience. Hold firm to your new state, trust that it is already done, and refuse to be swayed by appearances. In time, you will see the undeniable truth. The shift always begins in the mind. And once the mind has changed, reality has no choice but to follow. Change is a natural and constant force in life, yet many resist it. Not because they do not want better, but because they fear the unknown. The familiar, even when it is painful, feels safe. The mind clings to what it has known, even if that very thing is the source of suffering. But resistance to change does not stop the shift from happening. It only delays it. It prolongs the struggle, intensifies discomfort, and makes the process more difficult than it needs to be. Imagine standing at the edge of a river, holding onto a rock while the current pulls at you. The flow of life is urging you forward, but your grip remains tight. You fear that if you let go, you might be swept away into chaos. Yet what you do not realize is that the current is carrying you towards something greater. The struggle, the exhaustion, the pain, it all stems from resisting the natural flow. If you would only release your grip, you would find that the river knows exactly where to take you. This is how resistance operates in our lives. It comes in the form of doubt, fear, and attachment to old patterns. People say they want change, yet they refuse to let go of what is keeping them bound. They want abundance, but hold on to a scarcity mindset. They desire love, but cling to past hurts. They seek success, but remain trapped in self-doubt. And so, despite all their efforts, nothing truly changes, because deep down, they are still holding on to the version of themselves that belongs to the past. Surrender is the key. But surrender is not weakness. It is not giving up or becoming passive. True surrender is the willingness to trust the unseen, to step forward without needing to control every detail, and to release the need to know how everything will unfold. It is understanding that there is a greater intelligence guiding your path, one that operates beyond logic and human reasoning. The ego thrives on control. It wants certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants to map out every step before moving forward. But the nature of transformation does not work that way. If you demand to see proof before believing, you will forever be stuck in the same loop. The shift happens only when you allow yourself to believe first, when you trust that what you desire is already unfolding, even if there is no visible evidence. Many people delay their progress because they are waiting for conditions to be perfect. They tell themselves they will take action when they feel ready, when they have more money, when they receive a sign, when circumstances align. But what they do not realize is that waiting itself is a form of resistance. The universe responds to movement, to faith, to action taken in belief, not to hesitation and doubt. The longer you wait, the longer you remain in the same reality. Letting go does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means releasing attachment to how things must happen. It means freeing yourself from the weight of overthinking, from the need to force outcomes, from the habit of second-guessing yourself. It means stepping into the unknown with confidence, knowing that whatever lies ahead is meant for you. Fear is the greatest anchor holding people back. The fear of failure, the fear of making the wrong decision, the fear of disappointment. But what if you reframed fear? What if, instead of seeing it as something to avoid, you saw it as a sign that you are on the right path? Growth always feels uncomfortable at first. Every great shift requires stepping beyond what is familiar, and with that comes uncertainty. But uncertainty is not your enemy. It is the space where miracles unfold. Trusting the unseen means believing that what you desire is already on its way, even if there are no signs yet. It means choosing to feel the joy, the abundance, the success, the love before it arrives. Because the moment you stop resisting and start embodying the new reality, everything around you will begin to shift. But trust requires patience. Many give up too soon because they do not see instant results. They revert to old patterns, returning to their comfort zone, and then wonder why their life remains the same. The truth is, reality reshapes itself in response to the inner world, but it takes time for the physical to catch up with the spiritual. Impatience is another form of resistance. It is an unconscious declaration that you do not truly believe the shift is happening. This is why surrender is so powerful. When you stop resisting, stop overanalyzing, stop questioning every step, you create space for transformation, you open the door for the new to enter, you move with the current instead of against it, and suddenly, what once felt impossible begins to unfold effortlessly. The shift is already in motion. The question is, are you flowing with it or fighting against it? Your ability to move into the life you desire depends entirely on your willingness to let go. Let go of fear. Let go of control. Let go of the belief that you must struggle. When you surrender, you align yourself with the flow of life. And in that flow, everything you seek will find you. Everything in your life is shaped first in the unseen before it manifests in the physical world. Whether you realize it or not, you are always imagining something. Your mind is constantly picturing events, outcomes, and possibilities. The question is, are you imagining what you desire, or are you reinforcing the same patterns that keep you stuck? Because what you persistently see in your mind, whether consciously or unconsciously, prepares the way for what unfolds in your reality. The power of imagination is often overlooked because it seems too simple. People assume that change requires effort, struggle, and external action, yet they fail to recognize that action alone, without a shift in perception, leads to the same results. The outer world is only a reflection of the inner world. You cannot experience a reality you have not first accepted and embodied within your mind. When God is shifting you into a new season, you must align yourself mentally and emotionally with where you are going, not where you have been. Too many people sabotage their progress by continuing to see themselves as they were, instead of embracing who they are becoming. They pray for abundance while still seeing themselves as struggling. They ask for love while holding on to the belief that they are unworthy. They seek opportunities while picturing failure. And so, despite their desires, They remain in the same reality because their imagination is still tied to the past. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the creative power that brings forth reality. It is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. If you can see it clearly in your mind, feel it as if it is already happening, and persist in that vision, the world around you must eventually conform. This is not wishful thinking. It is a fundamental law of life. Every great shift begins with a change in perception. Before a door opens in the physical world, it first opens in your imagination. If you cannot see yourself walking through it, you will not recognize it when the opportunity presents itself. If you cannot picture yourself as successful, confident, and fulfilled, no amount of effort will override the deep-seated belief that you are not. This is why aligning your imagination with the new reality God is leading you into is crucial. Most people are ruled by their external circumstances. They look at their current situation and instead of using imagination to create something new, they reinforce what already exists. They say, this is just the way things are, and so they continue living the same story. They allow temporary setbacks to define them permanently because they cannot see beyond the moment. But those who understand the power of imagination do not let present circumstances dictate their future. They persist in their vision even when nothing seems to be changing, because they know that the unseen reality is just as real, if not more real, than what their senses perceive. The key is persistence. A single moment of visualization will not create lasting change. You must make your new reality so familiar in your mind that it becomes your natural state. It is not enough to imagine something briefly and then return to old doubts and fears. You must dwell in the new state, feel it, embody it, live as if it is already true, because in a deeper sense, it is. The moment you accept a new reality internally, the external world begins to shift to match it. There is no need to force or struggle. The work is in shifting your awareness, in maintaining the vision despite appearances, in trusting that what you see within will soon be seen without. When you remain faithful to the unseen, when you refuse to let doubt shake your conviction, you align yourself with the flow of divine movement. Suddenly, doors open effortlessly. Circumstances rearrange, people and opportunities show up at the right time. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Many fail because they allow themselves to be swayed by temporary conditions. They begin to imagine a better future, but the moment they face opposition, they return to their old way of thinking. They let fear, frustration, or impatience take over, and in doing so, they undo the work they had begun. The secret is to persist, to remain unshaken, to trust that the shift is happening even when there is no visible evidence yet. God is moving you into a greater reality, but you must prepare the way. You must make room for the new by letting go of the old doubts, old fears, old assumptions. You must see yourself as already having received what you desire. Walk in confidence, think from the new state, and refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts it. Because whatever you persistently see in your mind, you will eventually hold in your hands. Faith is the unseen bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. It is the quiet certainty that what you desire is already yours, even before there is any visible proof. Without faith, you remain bound to what your senses perceive, unable to move beyond the limitations of your current reality. But with faith, you step into the unknown with confidence, knowing that all is unfolding exactly as it should. Most people struggle with faith because they have been conditioned to believe only in what they can see. They trust the physical world more than the unseen power shaping it. They pray for change, but still allow fear and doubt to control their thoughts. They ask for guidance, but hesitate to take steps forward unless they see clear signs. This is why so many remain stuck, because they are waiting for external confirmation before they truly believe. But faith does not work that way. Faith is the knowing that precedes the evidence, not the result of it. When God is shifting you, He does not always give you the full picture. He may not reveal every step or provide immediate proof of what is happening behind the scenes. This is because faith is required for the process to unfold. If everything were visible from the beginning, there would be no need for trust. Faith is the key that unlocks the next level. It is the willingness to step forward even when the path is unclear, to believe in the unseen reality even when the physical world shows no sign of change. The moment you decide to walk by faith, you disconnect from the limitations of the old reality. You no longer let circumstances dictate your beliefs, and you refuse to let delays shake your confidence. You hold firm to the knowing that everything is already working in your favor, even when there is no visible proof. This unwavering trust is what allows the shift to fully take place. On the other hand, is what keeps you trapped. The mind will always try to pull you back into familiar patterns, whispering thoughts of fear and uncertainty. It will tell you that nothing is changing, that you are wasting your time, that you are foolish for believing in something you cannot yet see. But doubt is the enemy of transformation. It builds walls where there should be bridges. It blinds you to the opportunities that are already forming. It convinces you to settle for less than what is truly meant for you. Faith requires discipline. It is not a passive state, but an active choice. Moment by moment, thought by thought. When doubts arise, you must replace them with truth. When fear creeps in, you must affirm what you know in your spirit. When circumstances seem to contradict your vision, you must remind yourself that the physical world is only a delayed reflection of the unseen. Walking by faith means living as if what you desire is already yours. It means carrying yourself with the confidence of someone who knows the outcome is certain. It means thinking, speaking, and acting in alignment with the shift even before it fully manifests. This is not pretending, it is embodying the truth of the new reality before it becomes visible to the world. Many people sabotage their own transformation because they waver between faith and doubt. One moment they believe in the shift, and the next they allow circumstances to shake their conviction. They pray for a breakthrough but continue to speak as if they are stuck. They affirm success but still worry about failure. This back and forth creates resistance, slowing down the process. The only way to fully step into the new reality is to remain unwavering in faith. God does not require perfection, but He does require trust. He is shifting you for a reason, and the path is already laid out before you, but you must walk it. You must take each step in faith, knowing that even when things seem uncertain, everything is working in divine order. Your faith is not wasted. Every moment you trust in the unseen, every time you choose to believe despite appearances, you are strengthening the bridge that connects you to your new reality. Eventually, the physical world will catch up, and what was once invisible will become undeniable. But by then, it will not be a surprise. You will have already known it was yours all along. When God shifts you, the old must crumble. The things that once seemed secure may begin to fall away. Relationships you depended on may dissolve. Opportunities you thought were essential may slip through your fingers. Routines that once felt comfortable may no longer fit. This is not a sign of failure. It is not punishment. It is preparation. Many people resist change because they fear loss. They hold on to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves them. They pray for a new season, but cling to old circumstances. They ask for transformation, but resist the necessary breaking apart of the past. Yet, for something new to be built, the old must be cleared away. A structure that is no longer stable must be torn down before something stronger can take its place. If God is shifting you, it means He is making space for something greater. But too often, people fight against this process, trying to hold on to what is collapsing instead of trusting the new foundation being laid. They mistake endings for setbacks when, in reality, they are setups for something better. Imagine a tree that has outgrown its pot. If it stays confined to the small space, its roots will become tangled, its growth will be stunted, and eventually it will begin to wither. The only way for it to thrive is to be removed from its limited container and placed in a larger space. But that process is not comfortable. The roots must be disrupted, the soil must be shaken, the tree must be transplanted before it can grow freely again. This is what happens when God shifts you. He removes you from environments that can no longer sustain you. He closes doors that would limit your potential. He allows certain people to walk away because they are not meant to go where you are going. If you try to hold on to the past, you will only delay the expansion that is waiting for you. It is human nature to seek stability, but true stability is not found in external circumstances, it is found in trust. If your foundation is built on people, positions, or possessions, you will feel shaken when they are removed. But if your foundation is built on faith, you will understand that every loss is making way for something greater. Letting go is difficult when you do not yet see what is ahead. The in-between phase, the space between the old falling apart and the new taking shape, can feel uncertain. It may feel as if everything is unraveling, but in reality, things are falling into place. What looks like destruction is actually reconstruction. What seems like an ending is actually the beginning of something better. Think of a house undergoing renovation. The walls must be knocked down, the old flooring must be ripped up, dust and debris cover everything. For a time it looks like chaos, but only because the new structure is still being built. If you walked away from the process too soon, you would think the house was ruined. But if you trust the vision, you know that what is being created is far better than what was there before. When God shifts you, you may not immediately see the beauty of what is being built. You may only see the rubble of what was. But in time, the purpose will become clear, the new doors will open, the right people will appear, the path that once seemed uncertain will make perfect sense. And when you look back, you will realize that everything that fell apart was never meant to stay. Many delay their transformation because they refuse to release the past. They hold on to relationships that no longer align with their journey. They remain in situations that keep them small. They try to force doors open that were meant to be closed. But God will not allow you to shrink into something He is calling you to outgrow. If He is removing something from your life, it is because He is making room for some. The fastest way to embody change is to live as if it has already happened. When God is shifting you, He does not ask you to wait for proof before you believe. He asks you to step into the new reality with full confidence, even before it is visible. Most people make the mistake of waiting until their circumstances confirm the shift before they act differently. But that is not how transformation works. The shift happens first in your mind, in your feelings, and in your actions. Then the outer world rearranges itself to match. Everything in your life is a reflection of your inner state. If you continue to think, feel, and behave as you did in the past, your reality will remain the same. But the moment you start aligning your thoughts and actions with the new version of yourself, everything begins to change. This is not pretending. This is faith in action. Many people pray for a shift but continue to live as if nothing is different. They ask for financial abundance but still speak and think from a mindset of lack. They desire a new opportunity but continue to dwell in doubt and hesitation. They seek love but still believe they are unworthy. This is why they remain stuck, because they are waiting for external change before they allow themselves to shift internally. But the truth is, your external world cannot change until you. If you truly believe the shift is happening, then act like it. Speak as though it is already done. Walk with the confidence of someone who knows their prayers have been answered. Carry yourself as if you are already living in the reality you desire. This does not mean forcing things or trying to manipulate circumstances. It means fully embodying the mindset, emotions, and behaviors of the person you are becoming. Consider someone who is stepping into a new career. If they constantly doubt themselves, question their abilities, and fear failure, they will continue to act like someone who is uncertain. And because of that, opportunities will slip away. But if they begin to embody the confidence of someone who already belongs in that role, they will make different decisions. They will walk differently, speak differently, and attract different circumstances. Their internal shift will create an external shift. The same principle applies to every area of life. If you want to step into abundance, start making decisions from a place of abundance. If you desire love, start showing up as someone who is already loved and valued. If you want to walk in purpose, begin acting with the clarity and conviction of someone who knows they are guided. The world will respond to the energy you embody. Living as if the shift has already happened does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to let the current circumstances dictate your beliefs. It means holding on to the vision so firmly that nothing can shake your confidence. It means knowing that just because you do not see something yet does not mean it is not already unfolding. Imagine a seed planted in the ground. Even though you cannot see it growing, you trust that it is. You water it, nurture it, and expect it to bloom. You do not dig it up every day to check if it is working. You simply trust the process. The same is true for your shift. It is happening whether or not you see immediate evidence. Your job is to align yourself with it, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Many people delay their transformation because they continue to dwell in old patterns. They think of themselves as the same person they were before. They allow fear to control their actions. They hesitate instead of moving forward boldly. But transformation requires full commitment. You cannot step into a new reality while clinging to the mindset of the old one. There will be moments when doubt tries to creep in, moments when nothing seems to be changing, moments when the old reality still appears in front of you. Do not let that shake you. Remember, what you see now is simply a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. The new reality is already forming. Stay firm in your knowing. Every great transformation begins with someone who dared to believe in what they could not yet see. The people who change their lives are the ones who refuse to wait for proof. They live as if the shift has already happened, and because of that, the world reshapes itself to match their conviction. So step into your new reality now. Speak from it, think from it, feel from it. Let your actions be guided by the certainty that it is already yours. When you do this, the shift will no longer be something you are waiting for. It will be something you are living. And soon, the world will have no choice but to reflect it back to you. The shift God is bringing into your life is already in motion. It begins in your mind, takes root in your faith, and manifests through your willingness to surrender, trust, and embody the change before it appears. The old must crumble so that the new can rise, and resisting this process only delays what is meant for you. But when you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the new reality God is preparing, everything begins to move in your favor. You are not waiting for the shift, it is waiting for you. The moment you step into it with unwavering faith, doors will open, paths will clear, and what once seemed impossible will become inevitable. Live as if it is already done, and watch as your world transforms before your eyes. Thank you for listening, and may you walk boldly into the shift that is calling you. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the air around you. Feel yourself in this very moment, breathing, existing. Now understand this. You are not separate from your desires. They already exist within you. They are waiting, not for time, not for effort, but for your alignment. The secret to manifesting anything fast is not to chase, not to beg, not to force. It is to become. If you desire abundance, you do not plead for it, you assume the energy of someone who is already abundant. If you seek love, you do not crave it, you embody the feeling of being deeply loved. Reality does not respond to desperate wanting, it responds to certainty, to knowing, to embodiment. So I ask you right now, what is your vibration? Are you living in the frequency of already having, or are you vibrating at the frequency of lack? Your vibration does not lie. It is the energetic signature you send to the universe, and it always returns to you in kind. Most people try too hard, straining, affirming, hoping, waiting. But manifestation is not about effort. It is about alignment. When you relax into the feeling of already having, you enter the state of fulfillment. And what is fulfilled in the unseen must be expressed in the seen. Time is an illusion. The moment you fully believe, without hesitation, without contradiction, it is already yours. Your only task is to remain in that knowing. Let go of the struggle. Let go of the doubt. Imagine standing before a mirror, gazing at your reflection. You do not beg the mirror to change. You do not reach out and try to adjust the image with your hands. You simply understand that if you desire a different reflection, you must shift yourself first. This is how reality works. The world around you is a perfect reflection of your inner state, your vibration, your assumptions. What you hold within, whether consciously or unconscious, is precisely what you will see materialized in your external world. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are not passive occurrences. They are creative forces, shaping your reality in every moment. When you dwell in a state of lack, fear, or desperation, you do not attract the solutions you seek. You attract more of the same energy you are emitting. If you wake up feeling anxious and uncertain, believing that life is against you, that no opportunity is available, the world will confirm those assumptions. You will notice obstacles instead of openings. You will find rejection where there could have been reception. It is not because life is cruel, but because life is reflecting what you are holding within. Consider the opposite. What happens when you begin to shift your state, when you cultivate the feeling of abundance, love, and certainty within yourself? Even before your external world changes, something miraculous happens. You feel different. You walk with a different energy. You engage with people in a new way. You interpret events through a different lens. And soon, the mirror of reality must catch up. It must reflect back the new state you have assumed. People often misunderstand this principle because they think their circumstances must shift first before they can feel differently. They wait for money to arrive before they feel wealthy. They wait for love to appear before they feel cherished. They wait for success before they feel accomplished. But this is not how manifestation works. The universe does not operate on external validation. It operates on vibrational alignment. You do not receive what you want. You receive what you are. When you choose to step into the feeling of already having, already being, already living your desire, you send a powerful signal to the universe. You are no longer in a state of wanting, which implies absence. You are in a state of already having, which implies fulfillment. And what is fulfilled internally must express itself externally. The law is absolute. This is why the most effortless manifestations happen when people forget they were even trying. They relax into the state of certainty. They no longer need to grasp or control because they know it is done. The world cannot help but conform to their inner reality. But when one remains attached to doubt, worry, or impatience, they unknowingly push their desires further away. They may visualize, affirm, or script, but if their dominant state remains rooted in lack, their efforts cannot bear fruit. You must train yourself to feel the reality you desire before it appears. This does not mean pretending or forcing an emotion. It means aligning with the truth that everything you seek is already available to you. It exists in potential, waiting for you to tune into the frequency where it must become tangible. Your state of being is the key to manifestation because it is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. The moment you choose to elevate your inner world, your external world begins its transformation. Opportunities arise, people respond differently, circumstances shift in your favor, and the more unwavering you are in your chosen state, the faster your reality must bend to match it. So ask yourself, what am I embodying right now? Because that, more than any action, strategy, or effort, is what determines what you will receive. For a moment and picture the life you desire. See it clearly, the place where you live, the people around you, the things you own, the experiences you cherish. Feel the joy, the excitement, the deep sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing this life is yours. Now understand this. If you can hold this vision with absolute certainty, if you can feel it as though it is happening now, reality must bend to make it so. Imagination is not a passive daydream or an escape from reality. It is the very force that shapes reality itself. Every great invention, every breakthrough, every achievement began as an idea in someone's mind before it took form in the physical world. The unseen always precedes the seen. The internal world must shift before the external world can reflect it. This is the immutable law of creation. Most people live reactively. They observe their current circumstances and assume that reality is fixed, that what they see around them is all there is. But the truth is, reality is fluid, always responding to the images and emotions we impress upon it. What you consistently hold in your imagination with feeling and belief is what materializes. If you imagine yourself as abundant, joyful, and successful, the world must shift to align with that assumption. But if you imagine yourself as struggling, unworthy, or stuck, the world will continue to reflect that back to you. Imagination is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. When you see something vividly in your mind and infuse it with emotion, you activate unseen forces that begin to work on your behalf. The right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances will be drawn to you, not by chance, but by the law that governs all creation. Your role is not to figure out how it will happen, but to dwell in the certainty that it is happening. Doubt is the greatest enemy of creation. The moment you question whether your vision is possible, you introduce resistance. Many people use their imagination against themselves. They visualize failure, rejection, and disappointment, and then wonder why their lives reflect those very things. But the same power that can create struggle can create abundance. It is simply a matter of directing your imagination with intention. Think of a time when you were completely absorbed in a daydream. For that moment, it felt real. Your heart responded as though you were living it. Your body reacted as if it were truly happening. That is the level of conviction required to manifest your desires. When your imagination becomes more real to you than your present circumstances, the present must give way to the imagined. The world has no choice but to rearrange itself to fit the new reality you have embodied. There is no limit to what you can create. The only limitations are the ones you accept. If you can see it in your mind, if you can feel it deeply, then it already exists in the unseen. Time is not a factor. The universe does not recognize waiting. It only recognizes states of being. The moment you fully embody the state of having, you collapse the distance between your vision and its physical expression. Creation is effortless when you understand this principle. You no longer struggle, chase, or beg. You assume, you know, you trust. And in that trust, the universe delivers. Everything begins with imagination. What you dare to see in your mind, and more importantly, what you dare to feel as real, is what will inevitably become your experience. There is a secret to effortless manifestation, and it is one that many overlook. Detachment from time. The more you obsess over when something will happen, the more you push it away. The more you try to control how it unfolds, the more resistance you create. The very act of worrying about time signals to the universe that you do not truly believe in the inevitability of your desire. But when you release that need, when you let go of the urgency and surrender to the knowing that it is already done, things begin to happen swiftly, almost miraculously. Time, as we perceive it, is an illusion. It is not linear in the way we have been taught to believe. The moment you imagine something and feel it is real, it exists. It is not something in a distant future waiting to be attained. It is already yours in the unseen. The only reason it appears to take time is because the mind is still caught in the habit of measuring and waiting. But the moment you detach from the need to see immediate results, you shift into a state of allowance. You create space for your desire to unfold naturally, without interference. Think of planting a seed. If you dig it up every day to check if it is growing, you disrupt the process. You introduce doubt. You do not trust that nature is working on your behalf. But when you plant it with full faith, water it and leave it to grow, the result is inevitable. It is the same with manifestation. The constant checking, the impatience, the questioning, all of these signal to the universe that you are unsure, that you do not yet believe in the certainty of your creation. And so reality reflects that doubt back to you in the form of delays, obstacles, and unfulfilled desires. Detachment does not mean apathy. It does not mean you stop caring about your desire. It means you are so certain of its fulfillment that you no longer feel the need to chase it. You no longer operate from a state of waiting. You live as if it is already yours. And in doing so, you free yourself from the energetic resistance that slows things down. Most people remain trapped in time because they keep reinforcing the absence of their desire. They wake up every morning wondering why it has not happened yet. They check their circumstances for evidence, but this only strengthens the reality they do not want. The key is to stop looking to the external world for confirmation. Instead, go inward. Feel the reality of your desire so deeply that it becomes more real to you than what your senses perceive. When you no longer need proof from the outside world must catch up and reflect your inner certainty. Think about the things in life that have come to you effortlessly, the friendships, the opportunities, the moments of pure joy. They did not come from grasping or forcing. They came because you were in a state of flow. You were not fixated on when or how. You were simply being. This is the state that accelerates manifestation. To truly detach from time, embody the version of yourself who already has what you desire. How does that version of you think, feel, and act? Do they stress over when it will happen? Or do they move through life with confidence, knowing it is already theirs? Step into that state now. Live in the energy of fulfillment. The sooner you align with the feeling of already having, the sooner the universe will bring it into form. There is no need to rush, no need to doubt. The very moment you stop worrying about time, you step into the timeless realm where all things are already complete. And from that space, reality has no choice but to deliver. And breathe deeply. Let go of all tension, all striving, all thoughts of needing to make something happen. Simply be here now. Feel the stillness. Feel the ease. This is where true alignment begins, not in effort, not in struggle, but in surrender to the feeling of already having what you desire. Vibration is not something you force. It is something you allow. Many people believe they must push, strain, or work tirelessly to raise their vibration, as if it is an uphill battle. But the truth is, your natural state is one of abundance, joy, and peace. The only reason it feels difficult to align with your desires is because of the resistance created by doubt, fear, and over-effort. The more you try to force a state of being, the further you push it away. Imagine trying to grasp water with a clenched fist. The tighter you hold, the more it slips through your fingers. But if you simply open your hand, the water rests there effortlessly. This is the nature of vibration. When you try too hard to be in alignment, you create resistance. But when you relax into the knowing that what you desire is already yours, your vibration naturally rises to match it. Think about a time when you felt truly at peace. Perhaps when you were lost in music, enjoying the beauty of nature, or deeply absorbed in a moment of love and laughter. In those moments, you were not trying to be in a high vibration. You simply were. You were immersed in the feeling, and that feeling was effortless. This is the state in which manifestation happens quickly and naturally. Many people approach manifestation with a sense of urgency. They believe they must constantly affirm, visualize, or take massive action to get into alignment. But alignment is not something you do, it is something you allow. It is the absence of resistance. It is the natural state of being that arises when you trust, when you feel safe in the knowing that your desire is already fulfilled. This is why relaxation is so powerful. When you relax, you drop the tension that keeps you separate from what you want. You stop looking at the world as a problem to be solved and start seeing it as a reflection of your inner state. You let go of the how and when, because deep down you trust that the universe is already working on your behalf. Consider the energy of someone who is desperate for love. They seek it, chase it, and constantly question why it has not arrived. But this desperation creates a vibration of lack, and so they continue to experience more absence of love. Now think of someone who knows they are loved, who moves through life with confidence, joy, and self-assurance. They do not chase love, it comes to them effortlessly, because they are already in the vibration of having it. This applies to everything: money, success, health, happiness. When you force, you create resistance. When you allow, you align. The key is to step into the feeling of already having what you desire. Not in the future, not someday, but right now. How would you feel if your dream life were already yours? How would you breathe? How would you carry yourself? What thoughts would you think? Step into that now. Let the feeling wash over you. Not because you are trying to force it, but because you are allowing yourself to be it. The universe does not respond to effort, it responds to energy. When you relax into the vibration of already having, your reality must shift to match that state. The more you surrender to the feeling, the faster your desires manifest. Stop trying so hard, simply be. The moment you let go is the moment everything begins to flow. For a moment and imagine your desire fulfilled, not as something distant, not as something you are waiting for, but as something that is already yours. Feel it as real. Notice the emotions that arise within you: peace, joy, certainty. Hold on to that feeling, not as something to be grasped, but as something natural, effortless. This is the secret to manifestation. You do not chase what is already yours. You assume the feeling, and then you let go. Most people make the mistake of believing they must chase their desires. They believe they must work tirelessly, constantly visualize, or take endless actions to force reality to conform to their will. But the very act of chasing implies separation. It says, I do not have it yet. And so reality continues to reflect that lack. The more you strive, the more you confirm to yourself that your desire is something outside of you, something you have yet to attain. But what happens when you assume the feeling of already having it? You shift your state. You are no longer a seeker, you are a receiver. You are no longer longing, you are living from the fulfillment of your desire. And in doing so, you allow reality to rearrange itself to match your internal world. Think about the moments in your life when things flowed effortlessly. Perhaps an opportunity appeared just when you needed it, or a person entered your life seemingly by chance. These moments did not come from desperation or struggle. They came when you were in a state of openness, trust, and natural alignment. You were not chasing, you were allowing. This is the energy that brings rapid manifestation. Many people ask, how do I assume the feeling of already having it when my senses tell me otherwise? The answer is simple. Stop looking to the outside world for confirmation. The world is only a mirror, reflecting back to you the state you persist in. If you continue to look for proof before you believe, you will remain in a cycle of waiting. Instead, make the inner world more real than the outer world. This is not about pretending. It is not about fooling yourself. It is about embodying a new state of being so deeply that the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. If you desire wealth, how does a wealthy person think, feel, and move through the world? They do not worry about lack. They do not question whether money will come. They live in the ease and confidence of knowing abundance is always available to them. Apply this to your own desires. If you were already in the loving relationship you seek, how would you feel? If you had the success you long for, how would you carry yourself? If you were living your dream life, what energy would you embody? Assume that now. Step into it. Feel it deeply. Let go of the need to control when and how it happens. Let go of the desperation for signs. Let go of the habit of checking your circumstances for evidence. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up every day to see if it is growing. You trust that nature is taking care of it. Do the same with your desires. Assume the feeling, persist in the state, and then release all attachment. This is where true power lies, not in struggle, not in forcing, but in the quiet confidence of knowing it is already done. When you stop chasing, you shift from lack to fulfillment. You move from effort to ease. And when you do, reality must conform to the new energy you embody. You do not chase what is already yours, you become it. And when you do, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the force that brings the formless into form. When you possess unwavering faith, when you know it is done without needing proof, you open the floodgates for effortless manifestation. Faith is not just a belief. It is a deep inner knowing, a conviction so strong that no external circumstance can shake it. Most people live by sight. They look around at their current reality and base their beliefs on what they see. If they do not yet see evidence of their desire, they assume it is not happening. They question, they doubt, they waver, and in doing so, they delay the very thing they seek. They do not realize that the world is simply a reflection of their internal state. When you wait for proof before believing, you are caught in an endless cycle of lack. Because your outer world can only reflect what you persistently assume to be true. Faith moves differently. Faith does not ask for signs. Faith does not seek validation. Faith simply knows. When you truly have faith, you no longer worry about how or when your desire will manifest, because you understand that it already exists in the unseen and is only awaiting its appointed time to appear. Just as a seed planted in the earth does not require your constant supervision to grow, your manifestations do not require your constant questioning or concern. Think of the things in your life that have come effortlessly, things that seem to appear as if by magic. You were not stressing over them, you were not obsessing over when they would come. In many cases, you may have even forgotten about them entirely, only to have them show up at the perfect moment. This is the power of faith in action. When you release doubt and trust completely, the universe works in ways you cannot see to bring your desires to fruition. The mistake many people make is allowing doubt to creep in. They set an intention, but then they question it. They ask, why hasn't it happened yet? What if it never happens? Maybe this isn't meant for me. Each doubt weakens their faith, and in doing so, they send mixed signals to the universe. They step into faith momentarily, only to step out of it as soon as their senses do not confirm their desire. This back and forth keeps them stuck, delaying the manifestation they so deeply want. Faith requires persistence. It requires standing firm in your knowing, even when everything around you seems unchanged. It requires understanding that the delay is not denial, that just because you do not see it yet does not mean it is not already on its way. Consider the energy of someone who has already received their desire. They are not desperate. They are not constantly looking for proof. They are at peace, moving through life with confidence, knowing they have what they asked for. This is the energy you must adopt, not one of hoping, not one of wishing, but one of knowing. When you pray for rain, carry an umbrella. When you declare your manifestation, prepare for its arrival. Act as though it is already done, because in truth, it is. The moment you desire something and fully believe in it without resistance, it is already yours in the unseen. The only thing that determines when it appears in the physical world is the degree to which you sustain that faith without wavering. The greatest power you can possess is the ability to trust beyond what your senses tell you. To know, without a shadow of a doubt, that your vision is real before it is visible. To walk by faith, not by sight. Because when you do, reality has no choice but to conform. Faith is the ultimate power. When you master it, you master life itself. Everything you desire is already within you. Your state of being determines what you attract, your imagination shapes reality, and your ability to detach from time allows things to manifest effortlessly. Vibration is not something you force, it is something you feel naturally. The moment you assume the feeling of already having what you want and release all doubt, reality must conform.